crafty friends, welcome back to the attic. So pull up a chair around the craft table, grab your favorite beverage, and let's do a quick recap for week 3 for our Junetober event. I cannot believe we are already almost through with week 3. We have a couple more days. This video is going to go up on Friday, I hope. I have been sick this week, so I am behind on making things. I'm behind on watching videos. You know how it goes when you're sick. You have to get things done, and then you run out of energy. So, let's check out what we've got for week 3. For week 3, our spotlight designer is Stacy over at Crafty Dragon Creations. So let's grab my journal and take a look. We left off last week with day 12, so we still have day 13 and day 14 of Emily Designs Kit. So let's take a look at that really quick. Find my place here. Okay, this was day 12. And so let's take a look at day 13. For day 13, our collaborator was Paper's Caffeine Life, and she did a trifold with recycled Amazon packaging. So I did some thinking because, again, if this is your first time catching my weekly recaps, I did put this journal together from an altered book, and so I knew I wouldn't have the room to do everything everybody was going to do, but I did want to take inspiration from all the collaborators' videos. So for day 13, I took some junk mail. I did this little junk mail envelope here that was like the manila, which I thought went beautifully with Emily's kit, and I created a little trifold from that to hold my day 13 card, and I did some cluster work with pieces from Emily's kit, and I also did it to where it flips up to where you could see the collage work that I had underneath that. So that is what I did for day 13. Did some more cluster work over here. So for day 14 we have G's from Nudgies Creates. And for her day, she made clusters for a lot of what she was making. And so with that idea, I decided I wanted, in one of the clusters, she made like a pocket. And so that's my inspiration from her. I took a lot of Emily's labels that she had, and I did some clustering up here, some fussy cutting here, and down here I made a cluster pocket to hold my day 14 information card. I did some little netting behind here that I just glued behind the pocket, and so that's day 14. I did do some ink blending on the background page with some splatters and added some washi tape. So that's the end of week 2. And so now we're moving on to week 3 for Crafty Dragon Creations. And for Stacy's kit, her kit is called Fright and Filigree, and it is gorgeous. It has pops of purples and oranges, and they are beautiful. And I did some ink blending here and then used a stencil. That stencil, I used this stencil to create the background here. Used one of Stacy's pages to do some paper piecing here to make my background. She has some coffin tags in there and some words in her kit. And Stacy's day, she was taking an old spiral bound scrapbook and repurposing that. And she used some tissue paper to cover her scrapbook. And that's what I wanted to take for my inspiration. She also did a great idea that I had never thought of before. When she was using her tissue paper to cover her scrapbook, she mixed her paint right in with her Mod Podge so that she would have to, so she could eliminate an extra step there. And I thought that was a great idea. So I took some tissue paper and mixed my Mod Podge with some purple paint to create the background for this tag. And then I just did some piecing here with some collage work from Fussy Cuts from the kit to make my day 15. And stuck my information card in the pocket, and then I've got my information there telling me that this is the beginning of week 3 for Crafty Dragon Creations. So let's move on to day 16. Oop, almost skipped a day there. For day 16, we have Tamara Designs, and she made a envelope folio using some black envelopes, and that's the inspiration I took from her video, and I created my own little black envelopes with some black cardstock, and then I did some painting with some white gesso and a little bit of black paint to get my look back here, and did some splattering, and then I just pieced some papers from Stacy's kit to make my corners here. And from Stacy's kit she had some tabs, and I used those as the closures for my envelopes. And I just added a little journaling card here, and then that's how my closures work. And then here is my information card for day 16. And then I used some more of Stacy's words from her kit to go along with that closure. So for day 17, we have Scrap and Craft with Terry. And Terry used gems to decorate her journal. And that's the inspiration I took from hers. And I want to encourage y'all, please go back and watch these creators. Their projects have been so creative. There's tons of useful information in all their videos, so do go back and watch those. I'm just giving you what I took the inspiration from their video. So from this one, I did my little pockets here from Stacy's kit, and then I added my gems to my pockets here, and I went a little step further with putting a little bit of bling on these pockets, and I used some embossing powder to go over the spider webs here, and I don't know if you can see that really well, but it's just a glittered embossing powder to just give a little bit of shimmer to the spider webs themselves. And I did the same thing here. I used some of that embossing powder on the tag for this pocket, and then for this pocket is where I put today's information card. So now we're on day 18, and we have Thistledew Creations. And she added lace in between the pages of her journal. And I never thought about doing that. I've added lace to the edges of my pages, things like that, but I never thought about adding lace in between two pieces of paper and gluing that together. And so that's what I did with these little tags that were in Stacy's kit. I added my lace as I was building the tags instead of adding it on the outside. And then I just created my little journal cards with pieces from Stacy's kit, and I backed this with some hand-dyed paper that I made before Junetober started. And then for the background, where I have been printing all of the page kits in black and grayscale, that gave me the ability to add color wherever I wanted to match whatever my designs were. So I did some ink blending, kind of candy cane style here with the spiderweb page. And then I've got my journal cards here, and added a little Tim Holtz sentiment there. And then when I glued this one down, I left enough space where I could tuck in the daily information card. So that's day 18. And so the final day for this week is day 19. And our collaborator today was Susan over at I Totally Love It, and she wanted to play around with doing things that she had never done before. And one of the things she did was made a gatefold. And her inspiration was from one of the pages in Stacy's kit. And I took that same page and made a gatefold. But I did it a little differently than she did. I cut out the picture that was in that page and I backed it with some of that hand-dyed paper that I had made, and I went in and I used some gold embossing powder around the edges of my gatefold, and I just used this eyelash trim as my closure. And then you open up to my page underneath, and I just used eyelets here to hold the policy closures on the gatefold. And in going with something new, kind of along the lines of Susan's idea of trying something new, eyelash trim is something I've never used before with a policy closure, so that was there. And over here I just added my day 19 information card and did some of that gold embossing with my picture and a stamp. And so that is the end of this week for week 3. We still have day 20 and day 21 for week 3 for Stacy. And you can see, I'm hoping this little book is going to hold on. I am putting weights on it as when I'm not working on it to try to flatten things down. But I don't know, she's getting pretty chunky. But I wanted to take a moment and tell y'all from the last week's video where I was talking about my goal to reach 4,000 watch hours by the end of Junetober. And I've made a little graphic. I've been updating my Facebook group on Mondays as to where I stand with that goal. And so here's what I had as of this Monday. And I want to thank everybody that's watching my videos and commenting and trying to help me reach this goal. Y'all will never know how much that means to me. If I make the goal, that's great. If I don't, I'll keep trying. But again, if I do hit that goal, I am going to be doing a mega kit giveaway here on my channel, and it is not going to be a giveaway to where you have to enter to win. The basics is, if you watched any of my videos anytime the month of June to try to help me reach that goal, when I come on and let you know if I made the goal or not, if I have reached the goal, I will tell you how to claim your free kit. So I am going to keep this video really short today. I have tried to get all this done. I've still got some videoing I need to do for my event that I am also doing with Stacy over at Crafty Dragon Creations, where we're doing a year-long event for hashtag The Creative Turning. That will be out on Sunday. Hopefully. I am really hoping my energy stays up so that I can get this all done. But again, I do appreciate everybody's support, from watching the videos, commenting the videos, coming and joining my Facebook group, following along with all our Junetober collaborators. Y'all are really what makes this community thrive. So until I see y'all again here in the attic, y'all take care.